Hey everyone, welcome back. This is vlog entry number 4 and lesson number 3 in my journey to get my private pilot license. So this last flight we just did pattern work, takeoffs and landings, and walking away from the lesson, I actually felt really good about it. I had been training in Cessna 172s for the other flights. Actually was in 3 different 172s, and going forward I'm going to be training in a 152, which I wanted to do for the cost savings. I was a little hesitant about it as far as the size of the plane and just some of the various different things, but the plane has the instrumentation in it that I'm looking to learn off of. It's very, very basic. I want to really learn in a plane that has more of the fundamental, old school, if you will, style instrumentation and controls. And that really paid off. So I spent a little bit of time after the last lesson exploring the plane, sitting in it, kind of getting a little accustomed to it. So flying with the instructor actually was really well. I had enough room in the plane and felt really good about it. But the interesting thing was also that I was hoping to start achieving was I started to really get a feel for the plane. Now the 152 versus the 172 is a totally different animal. But I tell you what, all the primary controls felt really smooth. And even in my pre-flight, just going over surfaces, freedom of movement, checking linkages, hardware, all that kind of stuff. Just moving the primary controls felt really smooth. And I mean, this is a 1980 plane with quite a number of hours on it. It's actually a lease back to the school, and I mean, it's seen some action for sure. But I was surprised with how smooth everything operates. So that, in conjunction with probably just the nature of that aircraft, I really started to get a feel for what the plane was doing with my inputs and what the plane wanted to do. The plane really just wants to fly and continue on once it's trimmed, and that same feeling and phenomenon was apparent in the 172, but not to this degree. And of course, this is all still very early on, but I really got a good feeling for what the plane was doing and, what it kind of wanted to do on its own without any of my inputs. So we just did pattern work. It was really my first time really just running like a drill. I mean, we have done some slow flight and some different stalls, but they were very much like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and practice it, and then, okay, we're done. This was good to just keep running through the procedures. It allowed like quick correction of mistakes. So the next time you're around, do this a little bit different, do that a little bit different, remember to do this. So it was good. I mean, we did left traffic pattern, which is the primary for that airport. One time we actually did one right pattern, which was good to just have done that. Also, really is kind of odd too, because we haven't, other than just practicing coordinated turns and slow flight, I haven't actually done a whole lot of right turns, which is a totally different feel. Of course, the feel was different all around because it was different aircraft and, different training scenarios and everything. But so that was good to incorporate. The attitude indicator in the plane was actually broken, but this is the first time that I did ascends. I climbed at a constant speed versus a constant pitch angle. So previously, the instructors had me climb out, 10, 12 degrees And what I found was referencing, trying to get a sight picture, but you're staring at the sky. It's a little bit more difficult to get a feel for that sight picture. So I'm staring at my instruments, and then I'm sort of neglecting the supporting instruments in that scenario. Again, it's all early on, but my airspeed is just kind of like over there doing whatever. I'm really honed in on wings level. I'm putting in rudder input to stay coordinated, and I'm really just trying to hit that pitch. But doing this with that broken was actually good. So then we just climbed at our VY and just focused on that. So then, I'm really just controlling the pitch of the airplane to the speed, which is what we're doing in some of the other maneuvers later, but I'd never really done that type of control consistently. So that was good. Ascending up to 1,000 foot, practicing, 90-degree turns, doing some reference to my heading indicator as well as visual references. This was really my first time, pretty much from takeoff to landing, being in control, probably 95% on the throttle. Sometimes when we needed to make some more abrupt changes because of traffic, the instructor would hop in there. I ran flaps entirely myself, other than, again, when we were trying to really bleed off some speed or make some quick altitude adjustments. But it was good. So then this plane is carbureted, so introducing carb heat, which from a mechanical standpoint makes is like a no-brainer to me. I understood all of that. But putting it in practice, 1,500 RPMs, carb heat on, making sure that, we're doing touch and goes. So, carb heat off, flaps up, full power, then we're taking off again. It just felt good. I couldn't believe it. At the end, he asked how many takeoffs and landings I thought we did, and he said that he thought we did 8. And in my head, I'm thinking we did like 4 or 5. And our tack time was 1.3 hours. And so we were up there doing pattern work a good while, but and we were keeping tight patterns, which was good too. We have to follow some different rules for noise abatement as far as our elevation relative to, the airfield and when we're turning and this, that, and the other. But we were keeping the pattern tight. Which was good. It was drilling, those turns into, muscle memory, and, just, I don't know, the whole repetitive nature of it was helpful. But at the end, he had it logged on his phone and had it actually tracked. We did 9 takeoffs and landings, and particularly the last landing felt really good. My rollout and my flare was significantly improved. We touched down soft. One thing that I had still been struggling with was getting on center line and staying on center line. I kept having, throughout, a tendency to want to make subtle corrections. And I need to just start, focusing on getting the plane on center line and then, proceeding. Because what it does is when I'm on final and I'm not on center line and I'm wasting time getting on center line by, slow, small inputs, it's burning up the time. It's taking my attention away from, maintaining my pitch, checking my vertical speed indicator, checking my airspeed, putting in the last 10 degrees of flaps, and trying to stay coordinated and lined up, and it's distracting. And towards the end there, I was making more abrupt changes to be on course. Get that out of the way. wings level. And then what I had been doing, I had a tendency, even coming into like the round out, to be wanting to use aileron control to correct, being off a center line, or correcting, coming in on an angle with the nose pointed off center line. And the instructor corrected me on that a few times. And actually, probably on landing like 6 or 7, he actually, when we were crossing over the fence, as they call it, he really put in an exaggerated left, right rudder to show how that's should be used, and like how effective it really is. And his direction was just keep wings level at that point and use rudder to stay on center line. Once I did that, it was the next 2 times, I started getting a feel for it. Part of my problem was my foot position on the pedals. I was high up on the pedals and it just felt awkward. So I had to be mindful of that later. But once I started to implement that, it made all the difference. And the final landing to full stop was really night and day. And I was almost like a little disappointed that we were calling it then, because like if I had done 1, 2 more, I would have felt like excellent about like everything that I had learned, really putting the last pieces of the puzzle together at the end. But all in all, different plane, doing the pattern work. He for most of the landings put in like very little control input, and then the last landing was kind of like perfect, at least in the sense of what I've been learning. He was completely hands and feet off, and it was all me. Flaps, throttle, the round out, the flare, coming down off, power, flaps, carb heat, keeping the nose up, taxiing. It was all me. And that was really the first time that things were really all coming together, and all in my control too. So that felt good. The whole lesson as a whole went really well. And yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for this plane. The plane really feels good. It feels really raw. I can really feel like one with the plane. And that's something that I had started to feel a little bit previously. Obviously, there's like an inexperience aspect to it, but I feel like the attitude and the nature of this plane allows me to just be more in tune with it. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that. I've actually got the plane booked out for the next 6 weeks at least. No one really likes to fly with it. I think they like to fly with the G5, the G1000, and just the nicer, newer, more powerful 172s. And I don't blame him, but I'm trying to save the money, and I'll probably save several $1,000s doing it in this plane. And I'm glad that the plane is a good fit for me. So again, excited for that. The pattern work felt good. I'm even additionally motivated now for our next lesson. I'm pretty pumped to start putting more and more of the things I'm learning into practice. Looks like some nasty weather's coming in, so may only be able to fly once next week. Hopefully, we'll even be able to get in the one day. But as a matter of fact, for this lesson, we almost canceled because it was 12 gusting 18, and actually halved that by the time that we started training. And actually, I touched base with him about an hour before I left the house, and he said we were on if I still wanted to, and it was a great call. The weather was nice and clear, and the winds probably dropped from like 5 to 6 knots, gusting 10, which was a good balance there to like have a little bit of that, wind introduction and getting a feel for that. At around pattern altitude, we actually had 20 knot headwind, and then when we did right traffic, it was interesting having that much of a tailwind and just comparing, airspeed, ground speed, and, turning, crosswind, and experiencing some of that. Like I said, the feel of the plane all around was really good. So anyway, that's really it for that lesson. It was doing pattern work, introducing this new plane. I did the full pre-flight, I did the run up 100% and, getting ready for takeoff. Then I did, the post-flight checks. So I really was in command of the aircraft more than I have been really in all the other lessons combined. Again, this is only lesson 3, fourth time flying in general, so it's still super early, but this is the most I've done start to finish. I even put oil in the plane, and we fueled it. So all around, I've really felt good. It was like a real wholesome experience this time, so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to keep this video short and tight, and just wanted to check in and get another video on the books here, and just share with you guys my experiences. So look for that next video. I appreciate you watching, and if you're enjoying the comment, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to stay tuned for more, the best way to be notified of when I have new content coming out is to subscribe. Like I said previously, I'm trying to fly 2 times a week right now, so look for at least 2 videos a week right now if weather and scheduling all holds true. But I want to also start putting in like little short videos or even more detailed videos of more specific subjects as I progress. So if you comment down below of things that you want to know about, you want to see, let me know. I'm looking to address topics like that in video format, but any brief questions that are more individual or on a case-by-case type thing, I'll definitely answer down in the comments. But once we get some subject matter that a bunch of people are interested in, I'll make whole dedicated videos to covering those questions and those topics. So put it down in the comments what you'd like to see, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.